All right. Welcome to another episode of You're Gonna Be Okay. I'm the host, Tony Mack. As always, got a special guest in the building. Give it up for my girl, Bianca.
Yay! I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a beautiful day. I mean, I know you can't see outside, but it's sunny. It's perfect. We're in California, so it's perfect.
Oceanside. Oceanside. You came all the way here from St. Marcos.
San Marcos.
San
Marcos.
I say St. Marcos, but San Marcos.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long have you been living in California?
I've been living here almost 3 years. I actually moved here 2021 on Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo.
Yes.
We was
And it
talking
wasn't
about-
planned. It was just random. Like, I got a job opportunity, and it just happened to just be on Cinco de Mayo.
Okay. And then you've been enjoying it so far?
I've been loving California. There's a lot of places that I haven't been. I'm still exploring. I'm still trying to get to know the people, the culture here. There's a lot to do, but sometimes to me that could be a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are things that are overwhelming to you?
Just trying to find the right niche group of people. That's why. And I feel like, well, I grew up military, so of course, like, growing up military when you're little is easier because you're in school. So school kind of forced you to, like, make friends and meet people, but when you're an adult, it seems like everybody goes into hiding. They just want to hide in their house, and
Don't come
I
out.
don't know, it's just kind of hard to get to know people. People seem scared to be vulnerable when they get older. I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah, because we've been hurt. We've been hurt as we go through our traumas as a child, and then we get older. We're like, I don't want to go outside no more. I don't want to be infested with adult energy. Because there's some bad people out here, but there's some good people out here too. Don't get me wrong, some good people out here. You can make some good friends, but you kind of have to know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, and with California, like, just being here, you definitely have to have some type of boundaries, because I feel like anything can happen. Anything goes.
Yeah.
You could be like somewhere random and you just see like the craziest thing happen.
Trust me.
Like, did that just happen? Like, yeah.
That was me when I first moved here. That people were so accustomed to doing cocaine, randomly.
I know. I seen one at a party.
That's
I
what
was just
I'm
talking, and I'm like, what? Like, hold on.
It always makes it like the Cat Williams joke when he'd be like, "Do you know I can see you? Like, I can see you. Do this. This is random. It's so random." But Bianca's an actor out here.
Yeah.
How's your acting journey been so far?
My acting journey, I feel like I am recreating it. I've been acting since I was 13, but I grew up military, and then finally as an adult, I am, fingers crossed, selling in. I don't have the itch yet. That's kind of like something that I'm kind of a little fearful for. Like, what if when I hit my 3-year mark, then all of a sudden, like, okay, I'm ready to go somewhere else.
I mean, acting could take you many places, Which you could be like Cali, you could be New York, you can be in DC. There's so many different places you could be with acting.
Hot Atlanta.
Atlanta too. I forgot. I keep forgetting about Atlanta.
I can't forget about.
It's the Mecca.
Atlanta is considered the Black Hollywood.
Yeah, I've never been to Atlanta.
I've
been to Augusta, Georgia. That was the closest I got to Atlanta, and I was like, I'll never go back. Never go back, because that was the first. I was in the swamps.
Yeah,
the
Augusta,
swamps.
Georgia?
First time I ever seen alligators for real. First, I was like, I've never seen this in real life, and I was like, this.
But you've been to Florida, well.
So Florida, I've seen but I've been to Augusta first before I went to Florida. So it was like, that was the first time I was like, yo, this is real. Like, y'all live with these.
It gets real.
So, what made you want to get into acting?
So this is the funny story, because of the fact that I don't think I ever caught the acting bug. It was something that, according to all of my family, that ever since I was 4 years old, I always told people that I'll be an actress, and when I become an adult, I'll live in California. And ever since then, and I kept saying it since I was 4, but my mom was like, okay, well, we'll just wait till you become a teenager to see if you're serious about it. And so I kept saying it. When I turned 13, my mom, she put me up for a challenge. She was like, well, if you find your own acting class and acting studio, she'll pay for it. So I had to do the research.
Yeah.
And I did an interview. They accepted me part of their acting studio to attend their acting classes and get, acting lessons. And ever since then, I've been doing it. So
That's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool. So now you're like doing it. What kind of roles are you accustomed to playing?
So they always want to put me in dramatic roles, commercial roles. A lot of agencies will bring up like Nickelodeon or Disney because I'm 29 years old, and people are like, but you look so young, you know,
Black don't
which
crack.
that's a good thing. Well, let's not.
look
So I'm black, I'm crack.
Yeah.
Right.
That's because they do
We're
it.
not calling names, but
That's because they do
if they
it.
do crack. But see, I could be funny too. But yeah, so but honestly, I like doing comedy though. I want to do comedy roles, and actually on my TikTok channel, I do like a lot of funny skits,
Yeah.
and it challenged me, and I want people to see me in a different light and not just be like, okay, you have like this cute bubbly face or something, so
Yeah.
we're gonna put you in commercial or like drama or dramatic scene. Like I just want to have a funny character,
Like
and
loosen
be-
up a little
yeah,
bit,
lighthearted,
loosen up.
you know.
So you like comedy?
Love comedy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you was like you feel like
I'm a low key comedian.
everybody says
I
that.
want to be.
Everybody
Deep
says
down.
Everybody says they're a comedian, and then when they get on stage, it's
I'll
like
have a ghostwriter.
it's completely different from being on stage than it is. Like people are like, oh, like I can go up there and do that, and it's like, no, go up there and do it. And
Yeah.
it's like you see the crowd of people looking at you, then you feel the energy of the crowd. You're like,
That's a lot of peer pressure.
yeah,
Camera definitely is easier for me, but like, well, I was gonna say, going up stage. Well, I've been part of a play before, and I think that's like the adrenaline is fun to be
Yeah.
part of a play
okay,
because it's like you keep getting more and more opportunities to kind of switch up your character a little
Yeah.
bit. And then camera is kind of like, I do love camera. I'm so used to acting in front of a camera, but it's just like, it's easy to like you can mess up. You don't have to be authentic all the time. You can mess up and they can edit it and, you know. But when you're on stage, you have to like
it's like
give it your all.
it's like you have to be like precise when you're on stage. Like I'm doing a hosting gig tomorrow.
Okay.
So I like hosting because like I get to be the front. People come in, they see me, and they're like, oh, you know. But I got to keep the energy up. I got to like, if somebody bombs, I have to like make fun of them when they get on stage. Like that's my favorite part. It's like when somebody bombs and I make fun of them. It's like so funny. But I actually want to get better at doing like camera work. Like I'm so like whenever you like doing a selfie, you're like, oh, you know, what up? And it's so weird. It's so weird to me to like do that because I'm like, who am I talking to? Like I feed off of energy. So it's like when I'm in the space of like just recording, I'm like, okay, I don't know how to like do it.
Got you.
It's weird for me.
Yeah, that's interesting because I kind of want to agree, but like I've been acting in front of the camera since I was 13 years old, so it's kind of like natural for me. But I do want to get better with like public speaking, just being on the stage. Yeah.
I got
That's
you.
what I want to do.
I got you. Like I took in a public speaking class. I took in like a bunch of stand-up classes. So I actually learned a lot from public speaking, which it was like I took this class in Temecula.
Okay.
And I drove out there, met up with the guy. The guy was just like, "Why are you here?" Because he like the dude who was teaching the class, he knew me from doing stand up, and it was very I didn't
Right, so he's like, you already got it down pat.
yeah.
But, you
But I
have
was
a
like,
skill
maybe I
set.
can learn something from
Right.
the class, you know. So
Exactly.
it wasn't like, but I didn't know he was the one that was teaching the class. I just showed up. He was just like, I know you. I'm like, do you? He's like, yeah, you do stand up. I'm like, oh, you do know me then. He was like, yeah. So we started talking. He was like, all right. So I was his example for every come up here and like start talking, you know. But the one thing I learned was like stage presence from the class because like we did an exercise where we had to go in front of the class and look at everybody but not say anything. So I had to make eye contact with every single person and not say nothing. And it was just like, that's so scary because like what are you thinking when you're like making eye contact with somebody? I was like, oh man, this is weird. So I do that for every person. I was like, okay, that's what I learned. It's like now when I'm doing stand up, I take that with me every time, so I can make eye contact with somebody. If I'm making a joke or making a point, I'll look at somebody, point to them, and talk to them. And it's like I took like a lot of things from that class.
Yeah.
It was so dope.
Maybe I should take that class too.
So dope. It was in Temecula. You know, I could. My guy is really cool. You know.
Yeah.
And he was just like, he was like, oh man, we should definitely link up and like do more like public speaking classes and stuff like. Because I always wanted to. One day I want to do like a TED Talk. You know.
Ooh. I feel like you definitely can, especially if you already do stand up comedy. Then to me, you definitely could do TED Talk.
TED Talk, public speaking. You know, people were like, it was like, oh, you should be like a. My friends joke. It's like, oh, you should be like a pastor. Like, because I'm like, they're like, oh, you're so spiritual. I'm like, oh, I'm just regular person, but I really be speaking real shit.
Yeah,
you know?
me too. I'm spiritual.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, especially nowadays, it's like you need to be something.
Yeah, you need to have some type of like spiritual background, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Would you classify as your spirituality?
Ooh, I'm deep into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, honestly, I didn't become deep into my spirituality until, like, after I got a divorce.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I collect crystals. I meditate.
Word.
I mean, I like to do all that.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, so you said after your divorce, that kind of prompted you into that journey?
Yes,
Like,
it did.
How did that work out? Like,
well, like they say, when you're
right. Let me think about that.
When you're at your lowest times,
Yes.
you'll be surprised what you start focusing yourself on.
Mm.
But I mean, I always had it in me, but it's like when you go through a tragedy in a way, then it forces you to do a lot of healing and a lot of self-reflecting.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
Okay, and so you got a divorce, and then it was just like, okay, you're at this low point in your life, and you like had to figure something out.
Right. I had to get to know myself.
Yeah.
I had to figure out what I want to do in life, where I want to be in life, because like I said, I grew up military, married to military, so it's like military would tell you where to go.
Yeah.
So now that you're free from all that,
Yeah.
now it's like, okay, where do you want to go? Who do you want to be? Where would you like to live? What you want to do in your life?
I'm interested in seeing how that journey so that journey started right after the divorce. You're like, okay, finding myself, finding me, finding out what I like, who I am, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, because honestly, like, you know, I thought I knew who I was, but I didn't really knew who I was until I got a divorce.
Yeah, because you had time to kind of like be by yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that kind of like prompted you to be like, you know what, let me figure some stuff out for myself. Okay. That's
And the military was not a factor at that point.
So was it? So like you were married to somebody in the military?
Yes.
So that was that like, you just thought that you should do that, or how did that?
Like, how do I end up with somebody in the military?
Yeah.
So I low-key felt like I jinxed myself because I honestly did not want to be a military spouse. Like, my mom was, and I'm not saying it was bad, but it's a challenge to be in the military and also to be married with somebody in the military. And so I was like, I don't want to be in the military. I don't want to be in the military, and I don't want to date anybody in the military. But I start liking this guy. We went to the same high school. But at the time, he never talked about how he wanted to join the military. And he was always a grade ahead of me. So when I got to 12th grade and he was out of high school, he just had a regular job. So still didn't just talk about going to the military. And then all of a sudden he was like, well, I just want to do something different with my life. And then he went to go take the test. And then they gave him a call, and he's like, I think I'm just going to go for it. And, you know, I wanted to be a supportive person, so I didn't want to be like, well, I don't think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So I just stuck with him, and then we ended up getting engaged and married, but, you know, yeah.
Military shit.
Right. Yeah. So it's like, yeah. So that's why my mom is like, don't ever say that you're, like, never going to do something, because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. I was married to somebody in the military.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was very stupid.
Well, let's not say that on record.
Very like, because you just kind of see, you know, like what, like military people are very different from regular people.
Yeah, and I still have that military mindset.
Yeah, they're very, very different. And like a lot of it, I feel like, because if you're not in the right position for like a military person, they get depressed. And I know, like, I hang out with a lot of military people, and, you know, they tell me about their jobs and what they do and stuff like that. And it was just like, I thought y'all was going to war, fighting for the country, fam.
Oh,
y'all not even doing that. Like, y'all not even really, like, I thought y'all was about that life.
Some is just behind the computer, like.
Yeah. And it was like, oh, man. I was like, oh, that's kind of crazy to think about. But I just listened to their stories and what they tell me, and, like, a lot of them are severe alcoholics.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I've seen people trying to suicide themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, abuse in the home.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize, like, what actually go behind the scenes inside the household. They don't think about, like, what the family of the military soldier goes through.
Yeah.
And sometimes, in certain cases, the military families actually go more than the soldiers sometimes.
Really?
So they don't talk about stuff like that. Yeah.
Something that should be talked about.
Yeah.
Something should be talked about as far as, like, your family and, like, because a lot of times, like, the husband gets, you know, deployed and, you know, stuff like that. And that takes a toll because, you know, you should somebody be in there and they're like, oh, you got to go to
right.
overseas.
Iraq or something.
Iraq, you got to go
especially
overseas.
during the 9/11 times. I mean.
It's crazy.
Right, exactly.
Crazy. Like, one of my friends, he's big in the military, he's a Marine, and he was in Australia for 8 months. And he was telling me his experience over in Australia and stuff like that. He was like, man, it was cool, but, you know, like, I miss my wife, you know, I miss my family. And I was like, that's interesting. Like, because I never could sign up for something where I don't have a say-so in where I go.
No, you don't. And that's why I couldn't join.
Like, why would I... You telling me I gotta go somewhere? What if I want to go there? You know what I'm saying? What if I want to leave? And it's like, nope, you gotta stay here for 4 months, 8 months, or however long, 2 years.
Now, let's change the perspective. Think about how a child feels.
Well, they're a child, so they don't even know.
Right. Like,
so
they don't have a say so. So you're like, and then you got to start over. You got to go to a new school, learn a new school system, because every school system is different. The people, the culture.
That was your experience where
you always have to keep up with school.
Yeah. So how many different places did you live at when you were a kid?
Oh, goodness. I would say, just to think at the top of my head, this could be the wrong answer, could be more, but around 7 or 8 times. It could be more than that. Yeah.
And was it like you just left during the school year? Or
yeah. Oh, there is a point where I was in Hawaii in 3rd grade. In the middle of my 3rd grade, we moved to Maryland. So that's like the polar opposite.
Yeah.
And I had to attend the rest of the half of my 3rd grade year in Maryland.
Okay.
Remind you, it's like in the middle of the year, so I mean the class already like knew each other.
Yeah.
They already
made friends.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's different culture from Hawaii to Maryland.
Yeah.
So yeah. And there was a lot of times where I felt like I was just constantly always behind, because I always felt like I'm playing catch up. But I actually did really good in school, so it was like, thank God.
You're honor roll.
When I got to a certain point, when I got to high school, I was a C student, like in elementary and stuff. And 7th grade I had honor roll, but when I got to high school, that's when I started caring more about my grades. Okay. Yeah.
So did you moving around really affect you as like a person when you were a kid? Like,
as an adult, I actually appreciate the fact that I got that experience, because there's a lot of adults that are close-minded, and their perspective, of course, is biased based off of like what they know. Yeah. But as an adult, it's easy for me to adapt to change. A lot of adults are afraid of change. Yeah. But that's life. Yeah. It's going to happen. Yeah. And so I think the military for that. Like, I'm able to like just walk into anywhere and just adapt quickly, just like that. Yeah. Yeah.
That's good. So it gives you some like experience, like going around different environments, stuff like that. Because I know a lot of people that's like, yeah, I've never left Maryland, or I've never left California, or I've never. You know, it's like, oh, you gotta get out and travel.
Right. There are people, like, when people, like, say, oh, you sound like you're from the South here. And I'd be like, oh, well, have you ever been to the South? They're like, no. I'm like, what about Texas? And they're like, no. And I'm like, well, Texas is close by. Yeah. So, I mean, they're like, I never left California.
Yeah, a lot of people say, I've never left California. I've never, like, yo, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? You gotta at least get out. Like, at least me, like.
That's what I'm talking about.
Like, when I moved here, I never been to the West Coast. So came here in 2019, and then I was like, I've never been to the West Coast. I've been down the East Coast. So I've been to Florida, up to New York, Connecticut, all stuff like that. I was like, I should go to the
West Coast.
West
The
Coast,
West
see what's up.
Side.
But I have that similar experience where when I was younger, like my friend, he told me this every day. He was like, yo, remember when we were younger, bro, and you were like, you're going to go to California, you're going to do stand-up? And it was like a real...
so you used to say the same thing.
Same thing.
Oh, okay.
Same thing.
So we got
like,
something in common.
Yeah. My friend, he still hits me up to this day. He was just like, yo, I remember that conversation, bro. He was like...
Right.
He was like, yo, if you ever want to live anywhere in the world, he was like, where do you want to live? I said California.
Wow, so we have that in common.
And he was just like, yo, I remember you saying, he's like, you want to do stand-up? He was like, because in high school, I took... so I was at a point in high school where I didn't have to take as many classes as everybody else. Not saying I was a good student or anything like
right,
that.
So what are you trying to say? What was your GPA?
I wasn't an honor roll kid, but I did enough just to graduate. But I didn't have a third period class, so like I only needed 3 classes to graduate.
Okay.
So and then during my third period, for like the first week, I would just chill. I would like walk around the hallway.
That's nice. Yeah.
Random shit, and then teacher was just like, I looked at your thing. You don't have a third period class. I was like, I don't. She was like, so what have you been doing? Just walking around, you know what I'm saying? Just
I'd probably like studying, catching up on work.
So they ended up giving me, they was like, well, you need to take another class for your third period class. And I ended up taking drama. So I ended up taking drama. I was like, oh, I'll take drama.
So were you like a low-key theater kid?
I won't say I was a theater kid, but like I was very interested in acting as well as like stand-up. Because like I was that kid that would watch a movie and then I would watch the credits. I would
Me
like,
too.
Like watch the credits and be like, let me see who this person is.
Me
you
too.
know?
Me too.
And that was kind of like my most like. But I was also in like high school, was like Googling how to become a comedian, how to become an actor. Like it was just very strange. Like not doing no work, but like how do I become a comedian? And that's what I always mentality. But like same thing to you was like my friends like, yo.
You always said California.
I always said California. Always said.
Do you honestly know why? Is it just something you were just always saying to people?
I don't know. It was like that's what I felt.
Same here.
Like it wasn't like I've never been to California. I didn't know nothing about California. Like my parents still think it's weird. They're just like, yo, like what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like you're like, because it doesn't make sense to people who don't like. Nobody can see your vision for yourself.
Yeah,
nobody
especially if it's not like an ordinary thing, like being a comedian.
Yeah. It was like, but I would always tell my mom, I was like, oh, I want to be a stand-up. Like, my dad used to do stand-up when I was in Virginia, and my dad would, like, be leaving. He's like, going to do stand-up. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. You know?
That is
so cool. But I could never go because, I was super young.
Right.
So.
That is cool.
And then one day I went through his yearbook, and I seen he had, like, all his yearbook for his friends, like, oh, my God, you're so funny. You should do stand-up and stuff like that. So it was, like, an experience for me. Like, yo, that's really crazy to me to think about, you know? And just acting, I was like, oh, I'm gonna do acting, stand up. And it was like one of those things where I was like, nobody can never like see, like when you try to tell people or express to people, they can't see it. They don't understand like your perspective where you come from because it's for you, it's not for them.
And they haven't done it, they can't relate. They don't understand why you want to be a comedian.
Yeah. And I always question like why I'm at this phase now in my life where like, why did I want to become a comedian? You know? Why I want to be an actor, you know? Why, like, I try to ask myself these questions because I don't have the answer.
Yeah.
You know?
Are you in your 30s?
Yeah, 31.
That's probably why. I'll be turning 30, and I'm at the point where I'm questioning so much. Like, why do I like this? Like,
yeah.
But I think, like, when you hit your 30s or you're in your 30s, you start subconsciously, I feel like you start paying attention to, like, more about the purpose of your life.
Yeah. That's where I am now. It's like, okay, why did I pursue this type of thing? And then like I have like moments where like, okay, this is why. You know, being at a show and somebody comes to me after somebody came up to me after a show and was just like, bro, he was like, I wasn't gonna come to the show tonight, but I'm glad I did because of you. He was like, because I was in a terrible place in my life. You know, I just lost like my family member. And his family member ended up getting killed, and he was just like, I just needed, because like I was going to do something bad tonight, bro, but I ended up coming here. And he was like, I wanted to thank you for being here.
Right, comedy is like healing.
Yeah, and it was just like that moment for me, I was like, I didn't know how to respond to that, you know, because it's like it's so weird to me to like, I don't know the type of effect, like you don't know what the type of effect you have on somebody.
Yeah.
And that was just me just living in my own moment, just like I'm here to do a show, you know, make people laugh, you know, just having a good time. But like for him to say that to me, I was like, oh shit, you know, like that moment, like yo.
So that's part of the purpose.
Yeah, like it's part like, and it's also like healing in the sense of like because laughter is medicine.
Yeah.
And people don't.
And I love to laugh.
Yeah, like laughter, you have to laugh. You have to like, and I also feel like it kind of saved me in a sense, like when so talk about like your lowest point in your life. So low point for me, I was just like, you know, and I did everything. I was just like, I went out, had a job, you know, moved out of my parents' house.
The typical thing that America society tells you what you got to do. Yeah. And
I just wasn't happy. I wasn't satisfied, and I was just like, there's something else I'm supposed to be doing. And I was at a real low point, like super depressed, and I was just like, okay. But I ended up started doing like Facebook comedy videos.
Okay.
And my friend was like, yo, these are super funny, you know, like, and I just kind of did that, and then eventually I did stand up, and I was like, okay, boom. And that was that moment where I was like, okay, this is, you know, but like it kind of saved me in the sense of like, okay, I found something that I enjoy doing, and it also helps other people at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so I'm in that phase now where I'm like, okay, it's bigger than just myself, you know, in a sense.
Do you think nowadays it's hard to do comedy because now it's like the cancel culture and you have to be sensitive to just a lot of things?
Yeah, it is, you have to be very, like, you have to choose what you say very wisely, because people will try to take what you say and like manipulate you in a sense. They try to manipulate your words and what you're saying, like, because these are just jokes. You know, it's like I'm not maliciously trying to attack somebody.
No.
These are thoughts that I have, and people might, like, you can tell when somebody's making a joke and when somebody's trying to be offensive.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I never intend to be make my jokes offensive. I try to, like, even if it's something that is like, you have to, like, certain topics are very, can't like use certain topics, talk about certain people, politics, religion, like there's so many things that people want to talk about but they don't want to get canceled, and they don't want to be looked at as the villain. Because like if you, like, I feel like there's a lot of truth to what a lot of comedians say, but it's just, it's bad delivery.
Yeah.
And when you don't, and it's weird, because like you don't want to get canceled, you don't want to say something and like somebody takes a joke the wrong way, because like I've had my own experience where I had jokes where people, you know, I got kicked out of a place.
Really?
Yeah, I got kicked out of a place.
Wow.
For, like, I did a Trump joke, and they got very mad, very upset.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and it, even
definitely different from back in the days.
Yeah.
Because back in the days, I mean, they would make fun of politicians. I mean,
everybody.
Race, culture, gender.
Everybody. But like people are so sensitive now.
Right.
People are so sensitive, and the way that they, like, feelings are big now, because like back then they didn't care about people's feelings. So now everybody's so
right. Yo mama.
Yo mama, and like all these things like that, and I have this course is just facts over feelings. So you have to, even though you feel a certain type of way, it's like, what are the facts? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I kind of keep that mentality when I'm like working on a joke, because I like to have truth to my jokes, instead of it being like, oh, I don't want to get up here and just be clowning. You know, I want to be, I actually want to.
Now.
Yeah, I want to like help somebody think about something. If it's something that's real to me, I'm like, okay, let me try this. Let me see if this works out, and you know, craft it and see. And but again, you might get in trouble because you know it might be offensive. You might be, and
But prepping your like when you start to prep your jokes, I bet you that process must be challenging.
Yeah, but
that's like a long like list of a lot of things.
Yeah, but I don't try to let that like sway me. But it's like I have jokes that I haven't worked on stage because of that. Because like somebody might be offended by certain jokes, certain things that you might say. Because like there's a lot of things we can talk about in the world. But
That's true.
people get offended by these things. People, like, I had a joke where somebody in the crowd, this was in Baltimore, so somebody got up during the joke. He's like, nah, fuck that. He's like, don't we talk about, like, because I have a joke about, I have a joke about tow truck companies. So my car got towed and I was really upset. That's why I made the joke. And he got so mad at the joke because he was a tow truck driver.
About to say he must be.
Yeah, he was so mad. He was like, nah, fuck that. And I'm like, oh, shit, this dude is really upset, you know? But I always use laughter as a defense mechanism because, like, even if you're upset or you're mad, if I can make you laugh, then you know there's some truth to what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what makes jokes even funnier is when there's some truth behind it.
There's always some truth behind every joke that I do because I was like, you're upset right now, but when you are so easily offended, then that lets me know that I'm doing my job.
Right. You're right on the track.
Yeah, I'm right on the track and let you know, okay, you are really mad right now. But it's like I can't feed into that energy because it's like I'm always a person that's like, oh, you should be mad right now. It's like, no, I shouldn't be mad. I should be very calm because, like, I'm not gonna mix. You're upset at me or you're upset at something. I'm not gonna be upset with you. I'm gonna try to calm you down. I'm gonna try to bring you back down to a state of peace.
Right, which that's the goal.
Yeah.
But, like, the point is to make people laugh.
Yeah, that's the big point, is make people laugh. I also think make people laugh and make people think. Those are my two big things. I want people to think.
So who's your favorite comedian then?
Dave Chappelle.
Okay.
Dave Chappelle is like my favorite comedian because he makes me think.
He does.
Makes me think.
About a lot of things.
Yeah.
A lot of things.
He makes me think. I like comedians that make me think about, like, I feel like comedians are modern day philosophers. So I love philosophy. That's like one of my big things I like. And they make you think, oh, that's a great way to think about that. Like, one I've been watching is George Carlin.
I don't think I heard of him.
He's like older white guy, but he was like big in, like, you know, back then, and he would talk about politics, stuff like that, and he would just make you think, like, yo, this is true facts.
Right.
Even though I'm not, like, because, like, I watch comedy now, I don't really laugh at comedy now unless it's like super funny, you know. But
like, really?
Yeah, no, like, because, like, when I'm watching comedy now, I'm not looking at laugh. I'm looking at how you do that.
Right, which makes sense.
Like, I'm studying your, like, cadence. I'm studying, like, your timing, stage presence. Like, how do you do certain things? But, like, super funny, I'll laugh at it. Because, like, comedians are very weird people when you, like, we go to mics or shows, whatever, we just sit back there, like, that was funny. we wouldn't even, like, we give you a little head nod. Like, that was funny. All right. Well, because we want to see how you do that. Like, where did you craft these jokes at? Because comedians, it's like we look at other comedians, it's like a competition in a sense. Like, okay, this person's super funny, but
they got the more laughs.
Do you
count, like, how many laughs you got out of the crowd to determine whether it was a good show?
No, because, like, if it was good, people will come up to you after the show, like, oh man, good set.
Right.
If nobody comes up to you after the show, you bombed.
Really?
You bombed. You had a horrible set. But I also, like, I get a lot of, like, giggles, which is very, like, weird because, like, people just be, like, snickering and laughing. Like, they might not laugh, like, hard, but it's like they giggle a lot because, like, the way that I, like, time the joke out. Because I want those giggles right, and right when I'm about to deliver a punchline, I want those giggles because that's when I want that hard laugh. So it's like I love those. The hard laughs is cool, but those giggle laughs make me laugh.
Yeah.
So it's, like, super funny.
Man, that sounds. Oof. I know acting could be challenging, but being a stand-up comedian, I mean, that's a lot to think about.
There's a lot to think about.
A lot to think about, especially if you write your own jokes.
Yeah, I'm big on writing my own jokes. I'm big on, like, even people give me, like, jokes, just like, oh, maybe use it. Like, I don't want to use that because it's not me. Like, it has to, for me to perform it on stage, it has to come from me.
Right.
Like, you can help me, like, craft a joke, which I'll have a premise that I'm working on, and they'll, like, oh, maybe you should do it like this. I'll take that advice. But if you're like, oh, here's this joke, I was like, nah, because that joke needs to come specifically from me.
Got you.
And some people have writers, which is perfectly fine.
Like who? No.
I mean,
please tell.
Some people have.
Someone that do we know?
People have writers.
Right.
But I wouldn't necessarily say that they Like for me, I can't perform somebody else's joke
Mm-hmm.
because it's not authentic to me. I like to be authentic. When I'm on stage, people are like, "Yo, like you're the same person you are on stage that you're off stage."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a little bit heightened up, you know, like it's a little bit more. But as far as that, I'm the same exact person. I don't
Got
like to.
you.
I get on. Some people I see on stage, they be like completely different, not themselves, and it's not authentic. And the audience can feel when you're being authentic, when you're being real, and when you're being somebody else fake. Like
Yeah.
people can see through that,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I was like. It's cool. But I've learned a lot so much doing stand up. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting because it's like with comedy, it gives you opportunity to be your authentic self because this is your own words, your
Yeah.
own jokes, and your own experience. But acting is like they give you a script and
Yeah.
you just have to play off of that character.
See,
So it's
I
like-
like acting too. Like
No,
acting,
but which one do you like more, comedy
well,
or acting?
it's definitely comedy.
Okay,
it's definitely
got you.
because that gives me a chance to be myself. With acting, it's more like I like when I hang out with actors. Like I try to see what they do. I try to like one of my friends. He's an actor. He's been in like Marvel. He's been in like a bunch of cool stuff. So he's a legit actor. But watching him, I'm like, this dude's badass because he like knows like camera work. He knows like where to look at. He knows like the timing of acting, which is
Exactly.
very like it's a process in itself. Like I like processes. Like how do you do this?
Right.
And he showed me, okay, this is where you're supposed to look at. He's like, you see your eye level right here? And we'll go back and look at it. He's like, your eye level right here is not supposed to be there. It's supposed to be here. I'm like, oh shit. And then he knows like the beats in acting, how like we'll get a script and we'll work it out. And he's like, yo, this is dope. I'm gonna say it like this. It's like I'm feeding off of that. And I was like, this dude's amazing.
Right.
So it's like that process of like an actor, because I take things I learned from acting one to stand up too.
Okay.
So like everything I do, I take a process. Like public speaking,
Mm-hmm.
stand up, I incorporate it all into
The
one thing.
timing, the
Yeah.
beat, the pauses.
Timing, yeah. Because he's like, even like when I'm doing stand up, I'm also acting too, because maybe I have to act out a joke.
Yeah.
And so those are little things that he showed me. Like, okay, if you like, he was like, if you're telling a joke, how would you act it out? And he's an actor. He's not like a stand-up comedian. He's an actor. He's so like.
That's something to think about.
He's so dope, yo.
Yeah. Okay.
But stand-up is definitely like, if I had to choose, it would definitely be stand-up.
Stand up.
But I love acting too. That's the thing. Like it's just like
You could do both,
you
basically.
do both. Like because I like same thing. I want to do like I like being funny on camera and like doing funny sketches and different skits and stuff like that.
So do you see yourself being more of like a Hollywood comedian? And what I consider a Hollywood comedian would be something like more like Kevin Hart in that category.
No, like Hollywood has a stigma. Hollywood has a stigma. I don't necessarily like maybe, but I don't want to be that, you know, because that's crazy in itself. But I want to definitely do some good roles, some good filming roles and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
Because I see those movies and I'm like, oh, these movies are cool, but it's like it's like recycled material. Like they keep doing the same roles, the same different scripts, but the same movie.
Right. Like a lot of times where they'll have a man dressed up as a female.
Yeah.
And then,
Nah, I don't want
Yeah.
that. Like that's not mine. And I'm like really against that, which is very like to me because like me personally, I don't think a man should be wearing a dress, even for a comedic. But it's just like, where do we draw the line?
Yeah, I definitely feel like you should, even if you're starting in the game, I feel like you should start off with boundaries.
Yeah, like where do you draw the line when they say, oh, you got to put on a dress or makeup, wig up. And like even like I see a lot of people like on Instagram that do all these skits. They put on dresses and they and it's funny in a sense. It's like, but you can have a woman play that character.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You can have a woman play that
Give
character.
me the funny role.
You don't need to
Right.
be in a dress to make it funny.
Exactly.
Like there's a lot of women that can play these characters, but they think putting a man in it is what's best, and I don't really think that is a good look.
Yeah.
Me personally.
Mhm.
Because I'm just, I don't know, I've never been that guy like, oh, I want to wear a woman's clothes.
Yeah, and you shouldn't. I mean, if that's your preference,
Yeah,
then you
yeah.
shouldn't feel like for me to be successful, I have to, like, I just have to accept that they can just do whatever they want and change my appearance and kind of, demasculine, as you would say.
I really think it is really demasculating a human being, a man, to put on someone's clothes for comedy. Like, I don't get it, but to them it's funny. To whoever it's funny, Tyler Perry, Martin, and not like all the greats have done it. Mm-hmm. That's how they try to sell it to you.
Well, except for Cat Williams.
Yeah, Cat Williams hasn't done it.
And Bernie Mac and Richard Pryor.
Richard Pryor.
I don't think definitely not Richard Pryor. David Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle has done it.
Oh,
who's done it? But he did it. He didn't do it for a movie. He did it for a sketch.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Because like growing up, my dad, he loved David Chappelle, so we would watch all his skits. Yeah. He
did it for it was for a radio show that he did, and I was like, okay, so. But even he came to that realization of why do we put men, very strong men, in dresses? Like he had that same mind, like, okay, even if he did it, he's like, well, why is it a thing? Why do we go from? I think the first one was not the first one, but Flip Wilson was one. He played a show back in the days. He played this character called Geraldine, and it was just like, okay, he did it. Then Martin, and then
Robin Williams did it because he did Miss Doubtfire.
And Miss Doubtfire is a classic, though. It's a classic.
Love Robin Williams.
It's a classic.
One of my favorite actors.
Oh, he is by far probably the greatest as far as like, because he could do so many different things. He's so talented.
Like Jim Carrey, love him.
Jim Carrey, like
love Jim Carrey.
Oh, one of my favorite movies is Liar Liar. By the way. Love Liar Liar. But he could do a lot of different characters and like change his face expressions and like. But these are people who are like GOAT level. Jim Carrey is GOAT level talented. Like he can do so many different things, and that's what makes him Jim Carrey. That's why we respect him. So, like in some sense, I like Miss Doubtfire. Same things. Like nobody questioned if like a white guy gets in a dress,
right?
Or we question if a black guy gets in a dress. That's a big thing for me. Like, why do we question that? It's like. If we, like, here's the thing, they would stop doing it if we stopped supporting it.
Exactly.
If we stop going to Tyler Perry movies, he would stop doing it. You know what I'm saying? We stop.
Or Big Mama with Martin Lawrence.
We would stop doing it. If we stop supporting it. But it's like, do we, like, people still go out and watch these shows and watch these movies and,
Yeah. But, you're right. I'm guilty of that because I've seen all those movies. I went to the movie theaters to go see it. Laughed out loud.
I was a big Tyler Perry. Like I watched all of them, all the plays. I watched all of them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, like now, like you have like, because things change. That's the thing that really is like your mentality changes because like you go back and you watch it, you have a different perspective. Like. I'm like, oh, why this man in a dress, man?
Especially when you get older.
Yeah.
Because when Tyler Perry came out, I was still young.
I was super young.
Yeah. I think I was probably, was it middle school when he first started coming out with his skits and plays? Yeah.
So it was like you had.
So you're just like, oh, funny.
It's funny. It's like.
It's almost like a grandma.
Even like one of my favorite movies is White Chicks. White Chicks is hilarious, bro. Like. Hilarious. It's like I can still can watch this right now and it's still funny. But like and again, you see black guys in a dress, and you're like, ooh, it's like super cringy. But it's like, how do like
and their face is painted white too,
right?
So it's kind of like blackface in a way when you.
Hey.
I mean.
That is blackface.
Like we're getting controversial.
Yeah, not controversial.
But I'm just saying, technically, when you think about it.
Yeah. It is controversial.
Yeah.
But it's like one of those things you're just like, it is blackface.
Right.
Because, like, it's vice versa if a white person were to do black chicks.
Hey, that could be the ideal, though. Black chicks and white chicks. That would be a part 2.
You guys, black chicks. Oh, that would get so many ratings. And it would be, like, controversial because people would be like, yo, they can't do that. But it's like, you laughed at white chicks. So you should be able to laugh at black chicks.
Yeah.
But I've also, like, could it be considered racist?
Yeah, but like you said, it's timing. Because
Yeah.
when White Chicks came out, we were in middle school.
Middle school.
Yeah, it's
so
about
funny.
time. Yeah, it's about timing.
So funny.
I don't think they could do that now.
No, they
If
can't.
they would, it would definitely have to be like black males
Yeah.
playing a female character, doing Black Chicks. if
Yeah.
that's the case.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, because then it'll be a whole debate of like, male and women going back and forth, like, oh, you guys are trying to categorize, and
Yeah.
you guys are trying to put us in this
See,
stigma.
These are things that we
yeah,
talk
maybe
about right now.
it's timing. It's timing.
These things, like I don't know, whatever year, 2024. It's like what's off limits now? Because
I don't even know. That's a good question.
this is the stuff you gotta think about. Because like you don't want to offend nobody, you don't want to
Right.
stigmatize somebody, you don't want to culture appropriate somebody's culture, and so these are things you
It's
like.
a lot.
It's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
People, you know what I think it is? People are too woke. People are too woke now.
But are you really woke? Maybe, like, I don't know. I feel like we just throw that word around so easily. Like, oh, you're woke, but are you really woke, or it's just you are judging for you don't have a good reason behind it, or you're just saying unnecessary things.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a lot to think about. You got like. See, this is why we gotta have these conversations, because people
Right.
tend to like, are you really woke?
Are you really woke? And to tell you the truth, my answer is no, not all the time. Sometimes I'm half asleep.
I'm a little bit of
I'm in between.
I'm a little bit of both, because like, even though I care about certain things, I'm like, what's the point? Because like, people really don't really care. They pretend to care.
Mm-hmm.
They pretend to be up in an uproar, and especially when things happen to like the black community, and like they be mad for like 2 weeks and then back to normal.
Right. And that's the scary part about it. It's like people will be like, oh, we need to pay attention to this issue because it's so important, and then once something else happened, it's
Right.
like they forget about it.
Yeah, and it's like
Short attention span on everything.
Yeah, like how are we gonna care about it, or are we not gonna care about it? Are you gonna put forth the effort or not? Like how long, in a sense where people get frustrated with like police brutality or anything like that, and like, oh, we mad, and then back to doing the same old normal shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are things where you just like. So this is why, like me, I'm like, I really care a lot, but not everybody has that same careness, and like it affects me. Like when I see certain things, like, because y'all pretend to care, y'all don't really care.
Right.
Y'all don't care. Y'all just be like.
Because it's not impacting them personally, but
Yeah.
in a way, it's still impacting everyone.
Yeah. Like I remember I had this like random like this was out here, matter of fact, and it was like Black Lives Matter protest or whatever, and.
Which now is quiet. Like, you don't really hear much about
Nothing.
it. Right.
Like,
now you have to think about it. Like, did it ever happen? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it did happen.
But people don't care.
But now
as
it's
much
like
as-
in the history books.
Yeah, they don't care as much as,
Right.
as they say they care. You can go out and protest, but it's bigger than just a protest. And so I'm at this protest, whatever, and this white girl comes up to me. She's like, "What am I supposed to do?" I'm like, "What do you mean? What are you supposed to do? You had a fucking protest." She's like,
right. Like, what do you thought? This was like you were
She
in the
was-
marching band?
She was
or?
just like, "Well, this is my first one, and like I don't know what to do." And I was just like, "Do you know why you're here?
Yeah, like, why did you show up?
Why did you show up? You're protesting."
Yeah.
I was like, "Go pick up a rock and throw it at the police car." Go throw it at the police car, right? So,
Right.
That's what I need you to do right now.
Right.
If you're not gonna do nothing else, pick up a rock, throw it at the police. That's what we protested for. It was like, this is like what I be talking about. Like, people go
Like,
to these
why?
things and they don't understand why they're there. It's like they're posted on social media like, "Oh, I went out and supported Black Lives Matter," but you understand why you're supporting this group.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, these are things that mind boggle me.
Mhm.
These are things I'm like, yo, like, you don't understand.
That's crazy. That's really crazy.
Yeah, I was just like,
what?
Really?
So
Like,
you had like nothing else to do? Like, oh, I'm just gonna show up at this protest,
but
and I don't
they
even know
do
why
it-
we're protesting.
they do it for likes on Instagram. They want to take pictures. Like, protests now became likes on Instagram.
Everything at this point.
You say you support something and you really don't support it. Like, because when it really comes down to it, you really don't.
You're not down for the cause.
You're not really down for the cause. You're just down for a moment, and you're down to riot and tear shit up, but you're really not. You're not understanding why people are protesting.
The purpose, the meaning behind it, the value, the mission.
But these are things I'm like, my mind just be like, these are things I think about regular on a daily basis.
I could just imagine your facial expression when she asked you that question, like, why, like, what are we protesting? You're like, really?
I was so
like,
mind boggled.
Right,
I was like, really?
Right, yeah.
And I was just like, you don't, like, I was just like, yo, you can't be serious. Like, why are you here then? Why go home? Like,
nothing else to do.
And you don't, like, you sit here.
Especially if you didn't know, like, why they're protesting. Like, you couldn't think of other things to do rather than just show up and be like, well, why we're here?
Yeah, that was my whole thing. I was like, yo, are you really serious right now?
Yeah.
And I just couldn't grasp, like, it.
I still can't.
Like, people talk about the whole Israel and Palestine thing, and, like, you really don't care.
Yeah.
You really don't care. Because if you really cared about it, you'd be doing something about it. That's the thing. Is like, people say they care and they publicize it on Instagram and Facebook and changing profile pictures and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, that's what else?
Right. And that's the scary part. Like, you wonder, like, where is our world coming to? Everything is just for likes.
Yeah, likes on Instagram,
social media,
and that is the biggest. I say wanting attention is the biggest destruction right now. Is people just posting things for attention and not for a purpose.
Right.
Like, you post this, like, okay, what's the purpose? You know what I'm saying? Like, it my brain just be like, that's why I be getting so mad. I be like, I'm so mad right now because I see it. I see what our society would be coming to, and something that bothers me because, like, we really don't care.
Yeah, because everybody would just say, well, everybody else is doing it.
Yeah.
Like the whole Stanley Cups thing. Like, everybody going out to buy Stanley Cups.
Oh, yeah.
That was just like...
Like, my coworker, she was like, look what I got. And she, like, Stanley Cup. And I was just like, this is a regular cup. Y'all, you like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, regular cup. And it's like, all right, you paid $7 for a mug.
Right.
Just because everybody else had one. And it's like, that label... Just because it said Stanley on it,
I still don't understand.
You wanted to go out and buy it, and that's our society.
And then oh, you got to get different colors, and it's like it's just like it's a water bottle, water cup.
Yeah, like what? But our society is driven in these things of like I'm pretty sure there's a similar cup, same exact manufacturer with no label in there. For half the price. Yeah.
Yetis are nice too.
Yetis are fire. Yetis are fire.
Right.
Yetis are super fire. But this is labels, stuff like that. Like, what's really driving our society?
It's funny that but we're in the business with acting comedy. So it's kind of funny. We're talking all about likes and Instagram, but we're in that industry.
Well, because in the sense you have to have like a bigger purpose than the likes and the Instagram.
Exactly.
Because I had to change myself to like stop wanting likes and stop wanting the attention. That was really big for me. Because
me too.
I was big on, I wanted the likes and the attention, and I wanted,
especially when you're like posting videos, and you're trying to grow your social media presence.
You want the likes and stuff like that. It's cool, and you want
people view your stuff and comment.
But at the same time, it's like it has to be bigger than just like most people. You should want to like change the world. Like a lot of people like take like roles. They use these roles as a way to influence the world.
That's my main purpose about why I want to be an actress.
Yeah, because you want to have people look at you as different. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to just play like these. Like for me, it's like clowning on stage. Like that's cool and I have fun doing it. But I was just like, I don't want to just be the clown on stage. I want to be that one that is like what I said was meaningful and impactful.
And people can go home and think about it,
Yeah.
or it can help them to change their life.
Yeah.
And like you said, like when you had that guy come up to you and say, you know, you saved my life that night. So.
Oh man, that moment was like
this is why I'm doing stand-up comedy.
Yeah, this is those moments. Is
right.
Like, having those moments, like now I'm like, okay, cool, but I still want to have an impact, and that's the big thing for me is wanting to show people like you can still chase your dream and make an impact on people, and that's the thing. The big thing is making an impact on people. Like, sure, likes Instagram is cool. Sure, I make you laugh, but did you take something from it? Did you learn something? Did you have fun at least? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, are you at peace?
Yeah, because I feel like if you go about it that way, then you can maintain your own inner happiness.
Yeah.
But if you sell your soul, then that's when the depression comes and the bad habits with drinking and everything, and that's how I feel like you get lost.
Yeah.
In transition.
Yeah, because for me, it was like I've been there, done that. I'm good on that. You know? So I'm at a place now where I feel good. You know what I'm saying? I have a greater outlook on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because like at first it was kind of doing what everybody else was doing, but then I was like, okay, I'm myself. When I'm myself, I know I influence the people around me.
So I have a curious question. Before you get on stage, what do you do? Like, do you take a shot behind the stage or
like right now?
meditate?
I'm completely sober, so like I'm not doing like nothing.
Look,
like,
round of applause. That's good.
Not doing no alcohol, no weed, no anything like that.
That's
just completely
good.
sober right now, which is it's good. So now, I mean, usually I would. Well, my thing is I would have wine before I get.
I love wine.
That's my shit. So I have a
white
whole,
wine or red wine?
Definitely red.
A white wine.
Definitely red. I do drink white, but I just prefer red.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I would have like, I do a whole thing where I go on stage and I have a wine glass, and I'm like sipping my
They're
wine.
probably like, what type of comedian?
No, people
like,
do ask me this all the time. It's like, why are you going on stage with wine? But I would like, it's part of my act though.
Got you. Okay.
Act. It's like, I'm a big wine drinker, whatever. So, I love wine, but I want to stay with this wine and while I'm on stage, it's like how some comedians have like a cigarette, they smoke on stage and have a cigarette.
Yeah.
So mine is wine.
Or like a shot or, alcohol or something.
No,
like a bottle.
Just wine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people shot.
Yeah.
But like mine's like I would have the wine glass and like while I'm telling a joke or in between jokes I'll like sip on my wine and it's like part of like my thing that I'm doing.
I can see how that's really fun.
It's so fun. Like people be like, yo, had someone come to me after stage, he was like, yo, that's dope. And I'm like, what? He was like, I like how you was like had the wine glass and like and it was like I'm just doing this because I like wine. and then I made it a part of my act too.
Right.
So people was like, but now some sober would be like cranberry juice or whatever. You know, so kind of. But I used to smoke weed before I go on stage, and I don't do that no more. So it's just different now.
Got you.
I have different things. I have different things that I do. Like sometimes I might like do jumping jacks before I go on jumping jacks, just get the blood flowing. I might I have different processes, but I like to have a clear mind before I go on stage. Mm-hmm. That's the main thing because you
don't want to go on stage mad or stressed out or depressed.
Well, even sometimes that's even good. So one of my best sets was I was rushing because I took a nap. I got off work and I took a nap and had to be, and I was rushing. I was like, fuck, I'm late. Come down, so I'm like, and so I get there and then the dude on stage, he had 30 seconds left.
Yeah.
And then I came in and he was like, you're next. I'm like, fuck. So get on stage, absolutely straight murder because I was just I was off the adrenaline of running, being late. So I just murdered. I was like, I don't know, that moment for me was I had a lot of energy because I was but I was present though.
Yeah.
That's what made it really good. Cause I just had that moment all right, fuck, let me go out there and kill it real quick.
So maybe try that again, go out for a jog or something and then come in.
I need a jog. I need something to bring the energy. I have different moments on stage where it's just you never know. I never know when I'm going to have these moments where sometimes it's I black out on stage where
that happens, especially when you're doing theater. you would go through a whole scene, and then we get off stage, you're like, well, what did just happen?
Yeah.
Like, how do I remember all my lines?
Yeah.
I don't even know, like, what I was doing.
That's the flow state.
Okay, I never knew what that was called.
Flow state. You want to be in that, like, I have, like, that flow state is a very, like, when you get there, I want to be in that state all the time. Like, that's where everything is just, you're so present, everything is aligned.
Mm-hmm.
And that state is very crazy. A lot of people, like, athletes have it, comedians, actors.
Mm-hmm.
Some people have this state where just, like, everything just seems
It happens to me a lot.
Yeah, that means you're super present.
Like, every time I'm, like, performing, it's like a blackout. And then, like, people come up to me like, wow, you did amazing. You did it this, and you did it differently this time. You did it. And you're like, I did? Like,
Yeah.
I don't remember
Yeah.
none of that stuff. You did a great job. And I'm like, I don't even know what I said.
Yeah.
Like, hopefully I was saying all the
I
correct
had
lines.
that moment one time. My friend
Right.
always watched me perform. He was like, yo, whatever that was, you do that. I was
And you're like, but I don't
I
remember.
can't even recreate that.
Right.
Like, I don't know what I said. I don't know. Like, I felt like a fly
What I did
on the wall.
differently.
I felt like a fly on the wall because I was watching myself do it. I was like,
Oh, that means like you were having a whole
I was out of my
body
body.
experience.
Yeah, out of my body.
Wow, I never had that before.
I was like watching myself do it, and then like all I remember when I came back in my
But
body.
isn't that kind of scary when you think about it? Like
Nah.
you're just watching yourself do it while you're on stage. That's kind of, I don't know. I never had that experience, so it's kind of like
it's not as scary as you think about it.
Yeah.
Because it's like if you meditate often, you should have out of body experience.
Yeah, I have like that way, but not like performing though.
That's
Yeah.
moments where I was like, it was
That's
like
cool though.
I have those moments where I'm like,
Maybe I need to get to that level.
gotta get your meditation more. Charge the crystals up.
Right.
Charge the crystals up.
Exactly.
Well, I mean,
Wow.
we had anything else you want to say?
We could keep going.
We want to keep going.
This is interesting.
What else is on your mind?
A lot. Just being a black actress, trying to find the great talent agency that knows how to represent me. Kind of navigating yourself through, like finding the right niche of people to be around.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, when you're in this industry, there could be just people that just want to be around you because they're trying to steal something from you or take advantage of you or maybe trying to get something from you.
Yeah.
So, definitely a challenge.
So you felt like when you moved here, you had a hard time finding a good agency to represent you?
I would say throughout my acting career.
Okay. Throughout your acting career in general, like
in general,
agencies that didn't know how to represent you.
Yeah.
For being
because I was like either the only black talent or like it was only like 2 or 3 of us.
Okay.
Out of the whole talent agency. Yeah.
And they would like put you in stereotypical roles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
What's some of the roles that you've gotten?
Like stereotypical, like a more loud and aggressive type of roles,
Really?
but it's like
I don't see that.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's just because of the skin color.
So
like, I'm pretty sure you can do this role because you can relate, but it's not really. I can't.
Can relate to the loud and aggressive.
All the time, no.
The shenanigans in the world.
Right.
Why do we even have like those are big roles in the 90s? Like every black girl was casted the same.
Or a certain way.
Yeah, cast a certain way, being the ghetto chick and stuff like that.
Exactly.
It's very interesting.
Right. And it's like you have to have someone that has faith in you, like they believe in your talents, because even though this role may not be for an African American person, they would still put you in the game.
Yeah.
So you can audition and try out for it to see what happens.
Who are some of the actors that you like that you inspire to be as like your?
So right now it's definitely Taraji P. Henson.
Why did that Taraji P. Henson?
Right. Because of her story, like she came out to California as a single mom, and I think she only had like maybe $20 or $50 tied to her name in her bank account, but she still made it.
Yeah.
But of course, she's still struggling with not being paid equally and all that good stuff. But I mean, she came a long way.
She actually should be paid. Like I would equate her to like she's past like a Meryl Streep. She's past all of these for me in a sense. Cause like I've seen a lot of Taraji P. Henson movies.
Me
so
too.
She's a great actress.
TV shows.
And she's been doing these things for a long time.
Yeah, and I honestly forgot because when they were naming all the things Taraji P. Henson, even like guest stars on shows, and stuff, like she's done a lot.
She's an incredible actor. Like,
right.
Her, I just watched. I've seen it before. Hidden Figures.
Oh yeah,
I just watched she killed that role. Yeah.
Did you just watch that?
No, I just watched it the other night.
Like,
she killed that role.
Yeah, and I'm surprised she didn't even get an Oscar for it.
Killed that role.
A lot of roles, like what?
What's the Tyler Perry movie Acrimony?
Yeah.
Murdered that role. Yeah, like she had so many roles where she was like killing the role, bro. Like, how do you not pay this woman for the amount of time and effort she put in?
It's crazy.
And I don't know. Did you watch the Color Purple movie?
Yes.
I didn't watch it.
Well, actually, not the new one. I haven't watched the new one yet. I'm still debating about it. I kind of go back and forth with the ideal.
You're watching it?
Yeah, I've actually seen it. Let's see. Why? I don't know. I'm not a really big musical person. Mm-hmm. And they said that this time is it's based off of more of the music with the performance. So it's kind of like...
I've never seen the original Color Purple.
You never seen the original one? Wow.
I'm not into tragedies. I'm not into like I'm over like watching movies of black people struggle.
Slavery type
I'm over that. Like I just can't, like, we're so much past that it keep reminding us that that's where we were. You know what I'm saying? And like I feel like it keeps us in that mentality.
But have you noticed in Hollywood, those tend to be the type of movies that get so many different awards?
Yeah. It's very interesting.
Right.
Why is that?
Exactly. That's the point.
Conspiracies. So
that's what. I mean, it's a sad truth. But if we continue to bring up those type of roles, I bet you'll get Oscars and everything.
Well, we got to get out of that mentality.
Yeah.
Because like I don't like. You need, because when I watch these movies, it does something to me where
is like, it a trigger?
It is a trigger. Yeah. It is a trigger for me when I watch like certain movies, and I'm like, man, I can't watch this, because it just makes you feel how far we come, but we're still there mentally.
Yeah, we are. Mm-hmm.
And those type of
our movies, systems, everything.
And it like makes me so angry. Makes me so mad. So where do you want to, as far as taking your career, how far do you want to go? Where do you want to go?
I want to go to the point where I start producing.
Word.
I want to go to the point where I have my own community theater.
Yeah.
I want to go to the point where I have my own talent agency and like open the doors for people that are, that don't have resources.
Yeah.
Or people like us that we don't have anybody personally we can relate to that wants to do the same thing that we want to do. Mm-hmm. So I want to give back, and so I want to use my platform to just give back to the community and open doors for other people. Yeah.
That's dope.
So I have like a bigger purpose. It's not like, like just be an actress, but what can I do with that platform, right? And take advantage of that platform to give back. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's dope. What's your ideal role right now? Ideal role.
My ideal role, I would want to play someone who is a strong, educated black woman. I would have to say like a role like Viola Davis, where she was in I think the show called Scandal, where she was like a very top lawyer.
Yeah.
I would want to start off like that.
Okay. That's dope.
Right.
Viola Davis type.
Right.
She's dope too. Like
she's amazing.
She was in the movie.
And that's another actress that I feel like should have been like you said, that's up there with Meryl Streep. And
but they don't get paid. They definitely don't get paid the same. Because she, the movie I watched was she did a movie with Denzel Washington.
I know what you're talking about. I forgot what it's called.
Yeah, me too. But
it was off of a play,
it's
and then it
such
turned.
A good movie.
Is it called Something with Sunrise? What's it called?
I remember that.
I don't know.
But it was such a good movie. Though.
Yeah, I've seen.
I watched that probably a few months back, and I was like, "This was so good."
Viola Davis, man. And do you know about her story?
No.
Like she grew up really, really poor, like to the point where there's times where they didn't have, like, she didn't have water to take a bath, and she'll go to school smelling kind of like pee, and
That's
then
crazy.
her teacher would try to help her to clean her, like, taught her about hygiene, and
It's crazy.
because she did an interview with Oprah where
Yeah.
she talked about her past and her background, so she has an amazing story too.
That's insane. Why are
Those stories inspire me though, because
I'm
it
trying
gives
to
you
figure-
hope. It's
yeah.
like, okay, well, if they can make it from basically dirt,
like, I feel like why do all the creative people like have like such the worst stories?
like Tyler Perry, he was homeless, and
Yeah.
he was writing scripts and stuff in his car.
yeah,
So
you
yeah,
gotta have that, like, I guess when you go through a struggle, it kind of like gives you some type of like hustle, because like
maybe that's the reason why we went through what we went through, so that we could have a story. Like, yeah, I went through this.
like, well, that's the thing. Stories sell. You know, so
Right.
like you have to have like the most thing we do is share stories with people. That's how we connect with other individuals. We connect with this through our stories and past experiences. And when somebody shares like something that intimate with you, like, yo, that's crazy. You know, like. But I know a lot of people like in this field of creativity and like acting, comedy. Just like, yo, my story was horrible. You know, like I don't know how I made it. You know, and a lot of people have that story where struggling, poor, starving artists. You know, broke, and that's a big thing. Is like how to make money from your talent.
I know.
People will underpay you.
Yeah.
People will.
You have to have a lot of patience. There's a lot of no's before there's yeses.
Yeah.
Right. It's easy to want to give up. You know, it's easy for people to talk you out of it. Like,
Yeah.
why do you want to do that? Like, most people don't become famous, or most people don't have success in this.
Yeah.
It's like a very slim chance for you to be successful in this.
Yeah.
So you have your doubters.
Yeah, well, a lot of people will doubt you based off of like when you are in a place of like chasing your dream, people will try to doubt you because they've given up on your dream.
Yeah, like, oh, why you're still in California? Is that working out for you?
Yeah, people ask me that all the time.
How long are you gonna be there?
I get these questions all the time.
Right.
All the
Me
time.
too, and I'm just so tired of it.
Yeah, because it's like, well, they have this stigma and about like growing up, I would tell my mom like, oh, you're just a comedian. She was so against it. I think she's still against it to this day, personally. But it was like very weird having like your mom tell you like, oh, like you're not funny, like crushing your dreams as a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh
that was
wow,
like,
God.
yeah,
I felt that with my soul, like your own mom.
no, like it's just real shit. Like,
Wow.
like, and
That
it
should
was-
be like your biggest supporter, your mom.
exactly. That's
Or
it.
even if she just motivates you and be like, okay, well, just try try a joke this way, or just practice more.
Yeah.
But not like, yeah.
It was like those moments like, yo, as a kid I was just like, yo, like, why are you like hating? Not like why are you so against it? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you against something that I find passion in?
Did you grow up very religious, like in a religious household?
Very, yes, very religious.
Okay, because I could kind of be part of the
Very
reason why.
religious.
Yeah.
But even like I even told her, I was like, I think I was 16. I was like, all right, I'm gonna be like a stand-up comedian. Like, I'm gonna do that at church though. She was like, no, we don't do that.
But there's comedians that started at churches,
yeah. No,
cafeterias, and
it was like either
Yeah.
way, like this is why are you against it?
mhm.
That was my whole thing. Like you should support, like if you have a kid, you should support their dream.
Yeah.
Even if it sounds crazy.
Like if you want to be a stripper.
I mean
Right, like how far?
I mean
How far? In what categories?
I mean, hey, look, if you some strippers making bread.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like, so I
And
mean,
it's an art form, in my
and
opinion.
like some
It's
girls
an art
need to be
form.
like they don't have to. There's strippers that don't take off their clothes.
Yeah,
Or,
yeah.
like, so teach his own. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna say like maybe you should. I don't know, but I don't think that as you should be like. I thought about male stripping at a point in time in my life. I was like, it was stupid. But
I wouldn't be shocked when you say that, because as comedians and actors or actresses, being a dancer, you are performing in a way. So
I thought about it. I was like, nah,
yeah,
that's not. Can't.
I can see like
So dumb. Nah, I wouldn't. Like, there's some like you think about like, oh, cause I know male strippers. You know, like,
Okay.
so one of my homies,
Who are they?
one of my homies,
Sure.
he's a male stripper.
And where do they perform?
He goes to Vegas.
Okay.
So he does private like for like bachelor parties stuff like that. So he's a private stripper where they hire him to come and be one of those guys. And he was like, bro, like you won't understand the amount of money that I've made.
I'm pretty sure.
Stripping.
I'm pretty sure.
And he's like, women tip amazing.
Yeah, and I don't like the stigma where they feel like there shouldn't be strip clubs where only it's like male dancers because they don't think like females will go to a strip club and watch male performers, but we actually will.
Well, I think it's more of like women have like, because it's like low key, like people look at it as like in disgust, so that's why they do it in private. That's why they have the private strip clubs where but like,
well, I can see your point.
Well, it's like the
not
way
2024.
but the way that people look at it, it's like
Yeah.
more private for women to go to have a party and bring male strippers
True,
rather than
yeah.
women going to like an actual strip
Strip club, right?
Because
right.
the way that people look at it, because like they kind of censor women in a sense of like being sexual.
Yeah.
You know, like they.
Like you shouldn't be that straightforward.
Yeah,
as a
yeah. This is how society looks at it. Not,
yeah. No, I totally 100% agree with you.
And people tend to have this stigma of like, oh, like, but if you, women are as much sexual as men, if not more.
Yeah.
But it's
a lot of times more.
they don't want men to look at them in that way.
Yeah.
It's very strange. It's like a double standard in a sense, but it's okay for men to go out and publicize them going to strip clubs, stuff like that. When women does it, it's like, oh,
like keep that on down.
Yeah. But it's like
we'll do it like privately.
So that's why I think it's more like women go out and they'll have these, parties and stuff like that and bring people because it's like secret and they're not being judged for it.
Right.
So it's like a whole thing.
I know.
So it's like weird that when you think about it, society has all these double standards when it comes to like men and women relationships. Like
I know. It's a lot, and it's not easy. But you just keep like pushing through. You keep up with like your passion. You have to focus on the bigger picture, the purpose of why you want to do this.
Yeah.
And I feel like that keeps you going.
Yeah. Like you do it. It should be bigger than yourself. Like I have this like thing that I would say was like, if your goals are self-centered, you're never gonna make it. But if your goals is you to serve somebody else and make other people's life better, then you'll make it.
Where do we draw a line into that? Because I feel like there's a lot of people that get lost in that transition when they're trying to make it in Hollywood.
Well,
because some people, they're well known because they just want to be famous. Like they do whatever it takes to be famous.
Well,
so that's kind of like your goal is to be.
Well, if your only goal is to be famous, then you're going to do a lot of things to be famous.
That is true, yeah.
And you have to understand, like, the things that come with being so-called famous. But if you're authentic, you can have fame in a sense without being famous. People get the idea like, I want to be famous, I want to do all these things. Like, you have no idea what these people go through on a daily basis.
Yes.
You have no idea. Like, this comes from me. Like, I've hung out with like famous comedians. I've like talked to comedians, asked questions. Because I'm curious. I'm like, and I've had comedians tell me some stuff. I was like, yo, that's crazy. It's like, yo, this is what we deal with.
It gets real out here.
He's like, this is real. He was just like, so that has shaped my perspective on like wanting to be famous in a sense, because like when I thought about it, and this has come from like a well-known comedian, Netflix specials, TV shows, movies with The Rock. So, and I
think I know who you're talking about.
And I got to really got to like really chop it up with him, and like really talk to him and like just chill and like, cause what happens is like, so I'm at the Comedy Store and a lot of comedians come in. And,
wait, there's actually a comedy store, like a store.
Well, it's called a Comedy Store. It's like a place where people go perform.
Oh, okay, got you. Okay.
So one of the comedians. So there's one in LA and there's one in La Jolla. So I'm usually at the one in La Jolla. and he comes in, and me and him was just chopping it up, talking. And he was like, I like that fact that I could just talk to you because like I'm not the person that wants something from you.
Yep.
I'm a cool person. You know, I can talk to anybody, chill. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I want something, I'm gonna ask for it. I'm gonna just go do the work to get it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily like, I need you to do it for me. And he was just like, you're the first person that actually came up to me and was like, you're a regular person. Because, like, he can, like, people can feel when somebody wants something from them, or, like, they're in their presence, and it's like, yo, keep putting me on stage, put me in a movie, and all stuff like that. He's like, they don't want that because they deal with that all the time.
All the time.
They just want us to see a person that's cool with them.
Right. That's just normal.
Yeah, so me and him was just chopping it out, and I was like, oh, you know, telling me about Hollywood and LA, and, you know, stuff like that. And he gave me the best game that I've ever gotten from a comedian in my entire life. Like, he was just like, yo, he was like, it's good that you live here because what you need to do is go to LA, do your shit, come back home.
That's how I feel. I feel like I would never want to live, like, I'm not sure if it's wood or anything, but, right. I don't see myself living that Hollywood life. I could just go there and handle my business, but then I have to go back to, like, normal.
Yeah. And that's
I don't want paparazzi in my face. I know that I can't because, like, living in San Marcos, I walk my dog and like sometimes I have on like pajamas on.
Yeah,
and my neighbor's probably like, that crazy lady's in her pink robe again.
I would.
But they're so used to it by now.
Yeah.
Like, just imagine you walk outside and you always have to be on.
Yeah.
Like, there's paparazzi, a lot of people screaming all the time, like every day. That's a lot.
You have no privacy anymore.
Right.
No privacy. People take pictures of you. And
I don't see how they can do that.
But that's
some celebrities, they thrive off of that all the time.
But there are you can tell that they're soulless.
Yeah, you don't see anything. It's like blinking.
Yeah, you can tell when people are living a good life and when people are not, because it's all in the eyes. A lot of people are like light up when they're having a good time.
Yeah,
and
that's
people
true.
don't, like, you see it like, yo, you're miserable, yo. You're really miserable. And people don't understand what comes with being so quote unquote famous because of things they have to do. Mm-hmm. And then, like, I've been researching this shit for a long time.
Me too, right?
For a long time, yo, like, long time.
Long time.
So, like, I'm kind of hip to certain things that I see. I know places to avoid. I know what to look for. I know certain things because it just, a part of it's like when I go out there, I'm aware. Like, I like to just be aware. I don't like to.
Like, I understand about contracts better now.
Yeah, like,
deals,
shit.
right?
Shit.
Right.
Don't sign shit. Because you never know what you're getting into. You read the fine print.
Right.
Read the fine print.
Fine
and
print.
And then when you read the fine print, take the magnifying glass and look for the other. Look for the other shit or something there, because like you never know what you're getting into.
Right. Look up the definitions of a word, even though you think you feel like you know the definition, but it could also mean other things.
Yeah.
So
have like a lawyer from not in California. Have a lawyer from another state look at your shit, because like they all work together. You know, they all work together.
Right.
So these things that you just gotta be aware of. People
especially in Hollywood.
And these are things where people's like, I was telling my mom, she was like, you know, people want to make it when they join Illuminati. I'm like, oh man, come on, like just throwing in like,
wait,
where did this come from? Like,
now that part is funny.
where did this come from? Like,
right, like everything has to be that. That's the thing. Why does everything have to be a part of that?
Like, and this is coming from out of nowhere. It was like far left. Like,
you should go home with a T-shirt that says that I'm part of the.
She would like flip shit. Like they think like everything, like they look at me as like, I was always a child that was like far off because I was like middle child type, and
middle child syndrome.
I was like rebel without a cause. Like, I questioned things when I was a young child. I questioned religion. I questioned all these things, and they would get so upset because it was like, we don't know how to deal with you. Because of like, that
was deep. I felt that one.
Yeah, they just they didn't know. Wow. Because like of like the type of person I am, like I challenge authority a lot. Because like if I don't agree with your authority, I'm going to challenge it.
That's how I was a lot when I was little.
And it has nothing to do with, because like if I feel something is dumb, I'm like that doesn't make sense to me. I need you to re-explain it.
Yeah, I want to know why. Like if we have to do this, then what's the purpose of why we always have to do this? Doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, I'd be like,
that's the thing.
Don't say because what I said, I need to know what is the logic behind it. And like as a kid, it would get me in so much trouble, like because of like I always had that in me. Like it was like, yo, you were so hard headed. It's like not that I'm hard headed. It's like I don't like to listen to things that I feel are dumb. Mm-hmm. And then I feel it's like,
or you don't even have or it doesn't have a purpose. Or we just do this, but it's like, why?
Exactly.
Doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
This could just be a waste of time.
Exactly. So it was a big thing for me, and it was like even questioning like, you know, I was thinking it was 2016, 2015. Somewhere.
I feel like that's like a long time ago at this point.
Yeah, it's just so long ago. But they like this is when I started, you know, I guess awakening. I guess being woke,
right.
You know, questioning religion, and that was a big thing.
No.
That's like it. Yeah, you can't.
Especially in the Black culture.
Oh, like, you can't like.
You're doing what?
Yeah, you can't question religion. You can't
right.
question. It's like, and then they'll point out, it's like, well, this in the Bible. It says this. It's like, well, it also says this. You know what I'm saying? So it's a bunch of running contradictions inside of it. But when I point that out to you, you don't know what to say.
You gotta skip over that part.
Yeah, skip over that part. It, like I'll be in like Bible study. I ask questions. It's like, well, it says this, but then it also says this, and you don't have answers for me. And I like answers. I like questions being answered. And it was a big thing. And then I got kicked out because they were like, oh,
you got kicked out of Bible study?
My parents' house. Yeah.
At what age?
I want to say.
Oh, I know for a fact you're gonna be successful. This is every successful person's story.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like.
I don't know what happened. It was because it was like I stopped going to church.
Mm-hmm.
Stopped going to church. And my parents was like, and they noticed it because I was like, my parents kind of like when you're younger they force you to go to church. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't think you should force somebody to do something they don't want to do. And so at the time, I would always work on Sundays and Tuesdays because my parents, that's church, you know, Sunday service and then Bible study on Tuesday.
Exactly.
So to always make sure that I worked on Sunday
and
Tuesday.
So that could be your excuse. Well, I gotta go to work.
Yeah. And so.
And they like we're short staffed. Like who's gonna cover my shift?
So it was one Tuesday that my manager's like, hey, you got too many hours, you know. We can have you off today. All right, fuck. So I'm at the crib, and I timed it out so perfectly. So I was like, I'm about ready to leave. So it's like my parents leave around like 7:30. So it's like 7 o'clock.
7:30 in the morning.
No, 7:30 at night.
Yeah,
so
I'm about to say that's too early, right?
So I'm leaving at 7. My stepdad like, yo, where are you going? I'm like, I'm out. He's like, no, you need to be going to church tonight. I'm like, nah, I'm about to go with the homies for real. We about to be out. And he's like, what's up with you? You're not going to church no more? I was like, and at this point, I was just like comfortable enough to be like, nah, I'm not. I don't want to go. And so it was like a big thing. He was like, whoa. And so we get into it. You know, I just did whatever. My mom called me. He was like, oh, you need to go to church or whatever, blah, blah. And so when I get home later that night, he was like, well, we need to talk to you. And start talking, and we're like, well, if you're not going to be going to church, then you need to find somewhere else to live.
Ooh,
and it's like, what type of
deep. So young though, like where?
I don't.
Ooh, I would be so scared.
I think I was like 19 or 20 at the time.
But still, you're young still.
Yeah. And they were like, if you need to find somewhere to live, and I was like, what type of example would you set for your brother and sister?
And at this time, you weren't in college, were you? You were.
No, I was in college.
Okay. So you're college working.
Yeah, college working.
Gotcha.
You know, so and it was like in like that moment, I was just like, so you're telling me because I'm not in church that you want me to leave?
Yeah.
Because I'm setting a bad example for my brother and sister, my younger brother and sister at the same time. And then what do you have to say about that? I was like, well, if they don't want to go, they shouldn't be forced to go.
And honestly, they probably feel the same way. But, you know, that's just my
2
cents.
They feel the same exact way.
I would have got kicked out, too.
And so, like, in those moments, I was like, I look at these moments in life, and like, because I started questioning everything. I started to really start to understand certain things about myself. And, you know, I started getting into spirituality, and I started to, like, learn certain things and question things.
But that's the funny thing about it is when people treat you that way, how does that encourage people to want to learn more about their religion? If you
Right.
try to force them, you don't try to, be open-minded about it. You don't try to answer questions. And if they
Right.
don't do exactly what you say, then you disown them and you want to kick
Well,
them out. How does that
that's the thing,
encourage
that's how I felt.
them?
That's how I felt because, again, I was that child who was just like question things, very challenge authority, always getting in trouble, and all these things like that. And it was like those moments where it's like, so you're upset that if I mean it's my at this point it's my choice if I want to go to church or not. You know what I'm saying? I don't really care.
Mm-hmm.
But if I don't agree with your religion, I think that's the big thing. Is like I don't agree with their religion.
Well, yeah, and the way they practice it, because
Yes.
everybody can practice it differently.
And you can do anything, and then
Right, we don't all have to do it the same way.
Yeah.
Just because I don't go to church every Sunday doesn't mean I'm a bad Christian.
yeah, and they
Or if I don't pray every day, then
they
oh my
felt
God,
that.
you're not being loyal.
They felt that.
Like goodness.
And and it was even weird because when I was there, August and September, like at this point now, I start burning sage, so it's like a big thing because I'm cleaning out my brother's room.
Yeah, that would be a sight to see.
Yeah, cleaning my
you're
brother's
in
room.
there.
No, I was
I'm
really.
what the hell is that
Oh.
smell? What is that?
No, they started wilding.
Did they think it was weed or just
No, they thought he's like, what's that smell? I was like, oh,
it
it's sage, and he was like, oh, why are you doing witchcraft? I'm like, I'm not doing
yeah,
witchcraft.
witchcraft.
I'm
That's
just
what
like,
they said.
I'm like, really look at sage is really just smudge,
Mm-hmm.
and you should be smudging in general.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not.
Totally 100% believe.
So it's something that we've been smudging forever. You know what I'm saying? Before, so it's like, but when you're talking to people who only understand from their perspective or they only see you in a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
that's when it gets difficult because they still see me as like the child. And
Yeah.
now that I'm an adult, they see me as like they don't want to like learn from their children.
Yeah.
And it's an ego thing
Yeah.
because like when you're telling them something or you're trying to explain something to them, it's like, oh, you're a child, you need to stay in the child's place.
Right.
Even I raised you, so how can you like? But it's like me taking time to start researching, me taking time to like start understanding certain things, and then I'm more like when I was younger, I was very aggressive in how I would approach a situation, and like now I'm older, I'm like, okay, now I'm more lenient in the sense of like I can now come from a different place and
Mhm.
kind of, well, it's just this,
Mm-hmm.
it's this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If I have questions now, but I've already came to those answers. So now I can show you the answer
Right.
because
right.
you don't know the answer. I'm now
Right.
telling you this is what it is.
Yeah.
But it's still that same conflict of like them. Like one thing I don't like to talk to people about because people have such a strong belief with religion, politics,
I don't
religion and
like
politics.
to talk about politics.
and
Yeah.
because people have such strong beliefs around these things
Mm-hmm.
that there's no debate when it comes to these things because like people kill for politics, people kill for religion.
Right.
So like, why are you debating these things?
Exactly.
Unless somebody actually wants the answer, I'm not gonna like the thing with people who are religious. They try to force their religion on people,
Right.
and you shouldn't force something on
No, you
somebody
shouldn't.
because
It doesn't encourage them. You
doesn't
know.
occur- yeah.
Yeah.
And that was a big thing. So now I'm in a place now where it's like I'm not going to debate you and I'm not going to have a conversation with you unless you actually want to learn
Mm-hmm.
because it's not going to do any of us any good.
And you should always ask them first, like, are you prepared?
Yeah.
Like, are you
see?
in that state of mind? Are you open-minded right now? Is your mind clear? Are you ready to accept honesty
Because
before you say whatever you have to say afterwards?
they don't want these conversations.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like these conversations need to be had though,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like removing the ego from it.
Mm-hmm.
Because people built their like whole identity around these things,
Mhm.
around religion,
Mm-hmm.
around politics, things like that. They built their whole entire self upon these things, so
Mhm.
they can't really see themselves outside of that. So when you debate people about Jesus and Allah and spirituality and all these things, people can't like wrap their brain around it because you have to start. You have to go through so many like ways of like teaching somebody certain things
Mm-hmm.
because like once you start like really question it, I search for the answer. I want the answer. It's
Yeah,
like,
me too.
and they,
I want the reasoning behind it, like
yeah,
the
it's like,
purpose.
why, like, there's a question was like, why did they take out certain books in the Bible?
Exactly. Why is that?
Why was Christianity only 2,000 years old? What was before Christianity?
Exactly.
What was
Right.
before, the Quran? Like, these are questions that I just would have.
Yeah, or what? Like, why the way? Like, is there a reason the way we do church?
Yeah.
Like, we pass around the plate, and like, is that like, what's the importance of all that?
And there's so many questions that
Right.
you would have. And
Does it make a difference if you don't donate
exactly, and
to the church?
They never said, like, the Bible never talks about money. It talks about giving money.
No.
So what we're told to give 10% of our money, never talk about giving money.
Mm-hmm.
These are things that you question and like you need answers to, because like,
Should church be a business, like something that you could profit off of?
It's a business.
Yeah.
It's a business.
Right.
Like, God doesn't
Is
live
that getting lost in translation?
God
You know,
doesn't
there's a
live
lot of questions.
in a building made by man.
Yeah.
Doesn't live in a building made by man.
Right.
And this is the thing where you tell people this, and they start to like look at you different, and that's where I really felt was that they looked at me different,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not agreeing with you. That was a big thing for me.
Yeah.
It's like, because I want to be around people who like understand like me as a person. I want to be around people who
And
like,
who's open-minded.
yeah, like,
Because I feel like a healthy relationship, it has to involve two people that accept each other for who they are and
Right.
open-minded and want to grow from each other.
Mhm.
Not like, oh, well, you have to like everything that I like,
Right.
and you have to believe in everything that I believe in. Like, it's okay that we don't share similarities in everything.
Yeah. And
That's the whole part of being balanced. You want somebody to balance you, not
Yeah.
someone to be like your twin. Because,
Yeah.
like, how are you going to grow? How are you going to learn from that?
exactly.
Yeah.
But again, your parents, in a sense, don't want to learn from their children, because they.
Do you think that's like the biggest problem in our black culture? Or
Yeah.
do you think just like it's in general? Okay.
Well, yes, this is a big problem, because like I would say our parents, like people who are 20s and like 30s, let's say 25 to like, you got your parents and you got your grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
So like that ranges from so many different things. You know what I'm saying? Like our parents would, I would say, we're more close with our grandparents than you are with our parents.
Mm-hmm.
Like at our age.
Mm-hmm.
And our parents don't want to really, because they feel like they raised us, they don't want to learn from us, because they were supposed to be the ones teaching us. But our grandparents are more with a learning, because of they see the world we live in, because they've experienced it. They're on their way out.
Right, true.
They're on their way out. They're just like, yo, like, what's this world that we live in right now?
Exactly.
So they're more open to learn,
Mhm.
because like they see the world for what it is now, because of like where they are in their life. They're like in their 60s, 70s, 80s.
Exactly.
So they're like, yo, show me about this new technology. Show me about these new
Right.
things that's going on
This
in the world.
Facebook. What's
Like,
this app?
because they wanna learn,
Right.
because they feel behind.
Exactly.
But our parents are like, no, we raised y'all, so y'all need to be learning from us, and realizing that our parents, we don't live in the same world.
No.
You're saying like
It's always changing.
this is like our parents' generation, our grandparents' generation. Though that world was completely different.
Mhm.
Like our parents and grandparents lived in the same world.
Mm-hmm.
They lived in the same exact world.
Mm-hmm.
But now, our kids that are growing up now live in a completely different world.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's changing every 5 to 10 years.
Oh, yes.
So
It is.
when it was changing,
Quickly at this point.
when it was changing, I would say every 15 years.
Yeah. Shoot, sometimes 20 years
Yeah.
or 30.
And
And,
they
then
don't-
eventually something new would change
Yeah.
the economy.
So,
yeah.
and that's a big problem, is nobody wants to listen to each other, because you feel like
That
you
is
raise
big.
somebody that you can't learn from them. And that's a big problem, because
Mhm.
the kids now are smarter than when you were a kid, because
Yeah.
they have technology.
Yeah.
They have these things they can go on their phone and like
Tablets and.
they can search something up and be like, oh,
Right.
got the answer.
And don't even know how to form a sentence yet. I have a niece like that.
And just go
He's
up
only
and,
3.
and literally can just find the answer. They don't have to go
Right.
anywhere. They have it in the palm of their hand. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That's something that needs to be looked at as something serious. Like,
Mhm.
they are smart, but because they're a child, or because they Like, I think it is like envy. Envy because
See, I like your perspective because I never thought about that. It could be envy.
I just think it is because of how we're raised. Like, I have this. It's a funny story, but like this guy, older gentleman. I go to Chipotle. I walk in Chipotle, grab my phone, walk out because I ordered on the app. Old guy was like, "How the hell did you get your food?" And I was waiting in line for 20 minutes. I was like, "Bro, I ordered on the app."
Do you have an app?
He was like, "What do you mean an app?" Because he didn't know. And I was like, "Yo,
which is understandable, yeah.
Download the Chipotle app, fun. You got waiting in this line no more. You waiting in lines? That's for the birds. You know what I'm saying? That's for the birds now. I don't wait in line for nothing no more." And so, like, that perspective, he was so mad because of like I feel like they lived in the world. We live in a world that they wanted. But they're the ones that really created.
It makes a whole lot of sense now. Yeah.
They created the kids that are spoiled. They created these kids because of, like, our grandparents did everything they wanted to do to make things happen. Our parents worked hard, went to college, did everything their parents told them to do. And so when they had kids, they tried to spoil their kids and try to give their kids everything that they didn't have when they grew up.
Right.
And so then our kids are now spoiled or selfish now because y'all raised them like that. You raised them like that and you're upset because you think the kids are ungrateful now, but y'all raised them. They're not bad kids, is that they were raised a certain way, but y'all raised them. So you have to kind of deal with that perspective because y'all are the ones that like literally raised them.
Exactly.
And y'all are upset at them because you feel like we're not the point of like a job is a job. No, a job is not a job anymore.
I know.
It's not a job anymore. It's like
people would say, "Oh, the younger generations, they are lazy. They don't want to work." No, we just got smarter.
We just don't.
Like, why should we be so loyal to a company, especially in corporate, where at the end of the day, like, you're disposable? They can get rid of you for anything, any reason, anytime, without warning.
Get rid of your ass, and they tell us to put 2 weeks in.
Underpay you, undervalue,
and we want value now.
And they want you. They believe like you, no matter what, you should just be loyal. And loyal, but what we get in return?
Yeah, like, we get nothing.
And that's what we realized.
Yeah, we get nothing in return.
We just got smarter.
Yeah, but they hate that though.
When it comes to labor, like, we don't want to just be slaves.
Exactly. And
for what?
Our grandparents were the slaves. They were the people that went to work and dealt with corporate America, dealt with racism.
Had to accept whatever job that they were told to accept.
Exactly.
They didn't necessarily get to pick what they wanted to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so then our parents, it's like, well, you need to go to college so you can make all this money. And
tell me how that's working out, by the way.
They're still struggling.
Exactly.
Still struggling.
Like, I got 2 degrees.
They're still struggling.
And I'm still trying to figure it out.
They push this thing on us.
The American dream.
And it does
you
not
go to
work.
School, guaranteed a good job.
You're not guaranteed
making
a job.
Great salary. You could buy a house. Like, how many people do you know, like, roughly you're in our age group that can just buy a house?
Very few.
Or a house owner?
Very few.
Right.
And if they do own a house,
but we were supposed to, right? Because we went to school.
Well, they told you.
Right?
They told you to do those things, but
exactly.
that doesn't work.
Right.
Those things, that whole philosophy didn't work.
Right.
And so now it's like we became creative where we're like, okay, I had to do something else.
Side hustles.
Things like that. And some people side hustles
maybe
making
trade,
more money.
Maybe not go to school. Yeah.
Some people side hustles making more money than their corporate job, you know? It's like people tell you these things of like, oh, I don't think there's more than one way to make money. There's more than one way to, live, I guess, the American
and
dream.
That's what we're figuring out. Like, I feel like our generation's figuring that out. Because, like, when we were little, we were told, do great in school, get a scholarship, or, go to college, and then that's, like, guaranteed. You'll be okay. You'll be set.
I know so many people that have college degrees. Like, one of my friends, he went to school, got a degree, whatever, and he works at Cheesecake Factory, right? And we just have this conversation all the time. It's like, I make more money working at Cheesecake Factory than I will make with my degree.
Now I'm curious what type
I
of...
forgot what degree he had.
Yeah.
He's like, I make more money.
That's interesting.
But he had like a corporate job. He made $78,000 a year. But he's like, I make more money at working at Cheesecake Factory. He's like, so this is what I'm going to be doing because, like, I make way more money.
And at this point, it could even be at McDonald's because being a manager, I mean, I've heard, like, McDonald's managers get paid.
Some of them get paid,
pretty good.
$120,000 to general manager. So it's like, it doesn't, like, people think like people look down on people like that, but it's like, what generally is making you happy? You know what I'm saying? If you are happy being the manager of McDonald's and you making good money making ends meet, so be it.
Right.
If you work fucking wherever, I think the people that really complain are the people that are unhappy because you racked up debt, you got shit that you gotta pay for, you're trying to keep up with the Joneses.
School debt.
You have had the flashiest car, you gotta have all these things that really doesn't symbolize anything. But you're trying to give off this impression that you've made it. And these are big things that we just need to really talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know where we went off. We just went off.
No, but this is great. I love it though.
All right, let's wrap up.
Yeah.
Let's wrap up.
Well, thanks for having me. We talked about everything about being an actor, comedian.
Oh.
You know.
You're very easy to talk to.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love hearing that.
Yeah.
I like to make people feel like they feel comfortable with being vulnerable with me.
Very easy to talk to. Very just.
So does that mean I'm like going to be the actual host of the show?
You can be a host.
Right.
I feel like we should do like some comedy sketches together.
Yeah, I would love that.
We should do some.
Oh
I
my
have
goodness.
some good comedy sketches that.
Definitely going to support you in your shows.
Yeah, come. You should come to.
I would definitely will.
Come to some shows. We'll be in touch. We'll
definitely
make some content.
until
I
you see us again.
I did check out your YouTube channel.
Okay.
It was really dope. So we got some good content on there.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited.
I'm
More great things to come.
I'm a supporter.
Mm-hmm.
Check out. You want to shout your IG?
Yes. So my Instagram is Miss MISS Bianca. Hopefully you know how to spell it, but if not, it's BIANCA Dupree DUPREE.
Anything else?
Yes, my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is just my name, Bianca Dupree, and my TikTok is Miss Bianca Dupree.
Got TikTok too.
TikTok.
TikTok. And as always, I'm the host. As always, this has been one of the longer episodes. So if you stuck around this whole entire time, I appreciate you. Drop a link. Drop a comment.
Leave a comment.
Follow on the YouTube.
Like and subscribe.
I need to say that more. Like and subscribe. Let me do my YouTube.
Right.
What's going on, guys?
Where is it at again?
Wherever it
Click
is.
the button.
Click the like button.
Subscribe.
Subscribe
over
to
here.
the YouTube.
Right.
If you like this video,
share
comment,
it.
Share it to one of your friends.
Right.
All that good stuff like that.
It's free.
Free support.
Right.
Support the homies. Support
It'll
your
take
local.
1 second.
Support your local creators. I think it's dope. And that's out. We out.
All right.
Peace.
See you next time. Bye.